Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. I am more than this flesh and what comes with it. I am life, love, balance, and nature. So like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to share. And thanks for watching. Okay, first of all, I just woke up, so dismiss me. Anyway, today's hair day, so dismiss my hair. But I wanted to come on here and give a review. So on the teas, okay? I think it's time for me to give a review. This video might be a little bit long because I have to talk about, everything. Okay, so anyway, I came across this post that a Facebook friend of mine shared. Well, it was a live video of Krystal, and for some reason, I'm never on this girl page, but the live caught my attention, and I was glued ever since. Mainly because she was talking about things that I had experienced when I was pregnant and during delivery and even after. So I was like, it just touched me because that my daughter pregnancy it's a very touchy subject. But anyway, so everything she was saying, I was like, yo, I questioned so much. Like, for an example, when I went into the doctor to, double check that I was pregnant, because I had like 10 pregnancy tests, and my husband was like, nope, I don't believe you. You need to go to the doctor. So I did that. And they were like, yeah, you are about 6 weeks. And I was like, what? 6 weeks? He wasn't even in the States. What do you mean? 6 weeks. But I was like, you know what? I've never been pregnant before, so maybe it's something that they add that I just don't know about, I don't know. But I did question it, and I'm just like, okay, I know I'm not stupid. I know how to count, but whatever. I just let it go, right? Because I have an app on my phone where I check when I'm active and when my period is, right? And yeah, I still do it even though I'm married. I feel it's necessary. Because what if you do get pregnant, you need to know when so you can count for yourself, But anyway, that was a red flag for me, and she did mention that. So I was like, so that happened. My pregnancy was terrible. My vision was so bad. They wouldn't take my license. It got to the point where I couldn't see when I was driving mostly. So there would be times where I had to pull over and just chill out. My veins had inflated. I had blood clots in my arm. Like all right here, it was blue going all the way up, and red. I had red spots for some reason, which I thought when you had blood clots you couldn't see them, but I did have that. Also, every time I went to the doctor, the nurses would give me IVs. It went from every week to every other week, and I didn't like it because some didn't know what they were doing. And every time I say something, they would just dismiss me. Oh, I've been doing this for a long time, whatever, right? And I'm just like, no, you're not doing it right. Something doesn't feel right. Had infections, all that. So they were like, well, we're doing this because you don't drink enough water. So because I didn't want to get hurt anymore, because they didn't know what they were doing, I was drinking more water, and that made a difference. Like, my vision started to clear up. I had less headaches. I wasn't as dizzy, because I was passing out sometimes when I was pregnant. I would always fall. Like, I'm already clumsy as is, but I definitely was falling so much up and down the steps, so I had to be careful. But anyway, when I had the blood clots and stuff, they told me that I had to terminate my pregnancy. It was 4 months. And I was like, oh, as much as I didn't want to have this baby, I now do, now that they said, you know, you have to end it or you will die. And I'm just like, no, I have to have someone else's opinion. And so I went to the next doctor. They said the same thing. I went to the next doctor. They said the same thing. And I'm like, well, how do y'all know? You're not even checking anything. All you're doing is looking at my arm. You're not doing no ultrasound, no, nothing. You're not doing anything. So I went to like 5 or 6 doctors, right? And the last one gave me a ultrasound. I didn't ask for one. This is just what the doctor did. And the doctor was like, well, all the other doctors didn't do this. And I said no, and they said that I need to end it, and I only have a week, or I would die. And I said, but something is telling me that there's another way. And I know I couldn't take any medicine or anything like that because I was pregnant. So, but something just kept telling me to keep looking. So I did. And finally, the man said that I needed to put a heating pad on my arm and to drink more water and do something. I forgot. I think he said he said take something. It was a pill. But I didn't take it. I didn't take it. I just put the heating pad on, and he said you just need time. He said it's not that big where you would die, where you need to terminate the pregnancy. He said it's just little heat and time will do it. So I did that, and sure enough, 7 days it was gone. I didn't have a problem. Because I felt burning. Like one day I was at the movies, and all of a sudden something just said in my body, or in my arm, and it was on fire, and I just started panicking and screaming. So I had to go to the hospital. But anyway, so that's what happened. But let me tell you guys about the birth during, when I went to the hospital, they said that I am past due, so we need to schedule a C-section. But before that even happened, in the beginning, they ask you, what type of birth do you want, right? And I said, I want natural. I want to experience delivering a child. You know, that's what my body is made for. And as time went on, you know, I had 2 midwives. I had a doctor, well, my OBG, but I had to let him go because I didn't like him, and he just wasn't listening to me. So I ended up getting two midwives, and then I ended up moving back home because he went to Guam for a while. So I had an OBG back home. But anyway, all the doctors were saying that I am too small. Whenever they will see him and they see me, they laugh or they question how is this possible, as if it's really a big difference. I mean, I'm only 4'9", he's only 6'5". To me, it doesn't look that big. But I don't know. And then they were saying that my baby is too big for me and my uterus is too small. I said, that just doesn't make any sense because this is what my body is made to do. So why does it matter how big my baby is? My body can do this. But they were like, no, you can't do it. I've seen this so many times. You could die. And I'm just like, okay, again, I don't know. You know, you have this degree, you know, this is your job. So I guess I should just listen to you. But when I say every part of me was just like, no, you know, no. But I went with it anyway because I was afraid that my judgment wasn't enough. But anyway, so I couldn't have the natural water birth that I planned. they had this great birthing center in San Diego, California. Oh, love it. They got the little store, they got the rooms, you know, they got the tub, the bed. Oh man, I wish I would have had my baby there. But anyway, so the moment I was getting ready to give birth, my mucus plug came out. I was bouncing on a ball at this point. I was just tired of having her in my belly. It was just too much. And so it came out as I was bouncing on a ball. And I want to say 5 days later, I went to the hospital to get a scheduled C-section. At that time, I was 41 weeks. And I say this because, again, I knew I wasn't that far along because God gave me a baby, you know what I'm saying? He wasn't even there during the time. So it just didn't make any sense to me. And then so after they had broke my water, I wasn't dilating at all. So I was like, I don't know much about birth, but I thought you have to, dilate something, and I'm like, last time I checked, isn't that mean the baby is ready? And if you don't dilate, the baby isn't ready. So I didn't dilate at all. So they was like, well, 16 hours has passed and you're dry inside and you don't want the baby to die. And I'm like, well, that does kind of make sense because the baby live in water. So, it's in 16 hours without any water. So they did the epidural and I told them I didn't want that. And they said, well, you have to because you're getting a C-section. And how else are you going to get cut open? I was like, well, you're right, but still, I didn't want that. I'm like, I thought there was like other medicine, and I hate medicine, period. So I just did it anyway because I'm like, I don't know what to do. They all rushing me, and all this is going on, right? So anyway, as the man was putting the epidural in my back, something didn't feel right. I said, hey, I think you should stop, And the guy was like, I've been doing this for 20 something years. I know what I'm doing. Be quiet. And I'm like, no, I'm like, you may be doing this for a long time, but you're not the one that's actually feeling it. I said, something isn't right. And then so he was like, I'm a doctor. I've been doing this for a long time. I said, but this is my body. I think you need to stop. So they had 5 people hold me down because I was like not having it, but also because my contractions never stopped. Once I had contractions, I didn't have a break. It just kept going, just never ended. So they said that was also difficult for them to do anything. And so once he did that, I could no longer move from the neck down. They had all of them pick my body up and put me onto the next bed. I was legit paralyzed for 24 hours. And I was freaking out because I couldn't move anything. So once they put me on the other bed, my doctor was like, do you feel this? And I was like, yeah, I feel it, but it doesn't hurt. And he did it again. He was like, do you feel that? I was like, yes, but it doesn't hurt. Every time I said yes, he said, give her more medicine. And I was like, you can stop with the medicine, because I'm feeling it in my body. It's almost like the moment that they press, it's just like everything is going through my veins, like psh, just spreading in there. And I didn't like that. And I keep telling him, I'm like, you're not hurting me. I can just feel it. I'm not in pain. It doesn't hurt as you're cutting, but I do feel it. And then so after I, yelled for the last time, like, stop giving me medicine, that's when he finally stopped, and so that happened. She came, they got her out of my belly, and they were just they were all in my stomach, and I didn't like that. I was like, what are you doing? The first thing in my mind, they probably trying to see if my organs is good enough. They about to take it type thing. That's what I was thinking. And then so he was like, well, we're just checking to see if everything looks okay. You know, we just took her out. But I'm like, but you're hurting me. I'm in pain when you do that. I don't like that. It hurts. So he was like, knock her out. So it knocked me out. And then I woke up. They was like, it's time to feed her. So I was feeding her. She was so big. I mean, my baby was fat and white. She was 8 pounds and 12 ounces. But I noticed all of this was pushed in. And I said, I knew she wasn't ready. Because it was just pushed in. So I didn't like that. And I just thought about how I allowed them to convince me that I didn't know what I was doing. And I didn't know what I was talking about. And I hated that. But she's fine now, but still, that's what I was thinking about in that moment. That you allow her to come early when you claim I was past due. So that was emotional for me. And then after I had her, I didn't have that many people in the room with me, because everybody had work, or some people didn't want to come up because of certain people. But they treated me like hell in there. They threatened to call CPS on me because my baby was losing weight. But I'm like, they kept drugging me because they wouldn't allow me to feed her. I remember some nurses came in. They was like, well, you act like you're the only person in here, so we don't need to help you all the time. And I'm like, but y'all drug me up so much I can't move. And I said, I still need to feed my baby, and no one's up here. They just kept dragging me up. So she would cry and sit there hungry, and I couldn't do anything. And they kept telling me to be quiet, be quiet. But yeah, you threatened to call CPS on me because my baby is losing weight. But yeah, you won't let me feed her. Maybe 4 weeks later, I had trouble walking and breathing at the same time. So they would have someone in front of me, and I'll put my hands on them because I couldn't stand up by myself, and I just couldn't breathe. So that happened, and still to this day, I can't stand up for too long and hold something or someone. So I couldn't hold my baby standing up, and I was so depressed because I couldn't do that. It was too much on my heart. And I felt pressure right here. And I still do from time to time. Like my doctor said, I can't, standing up for an hour or more hurts. Seriously. But anyway, so that happened. A week later, I felt a pain where he put the, what is it called? The epidural. From right there, went shoot down all the way down to my leg, and I fell, and that happened a couple of times. So I went to the doctor. I went to the hospital where I had my baby at, and they said, well, that's normal, it happens. And I'm like, well, I need to fix it, you know. So I went back, and they was like, yeah, take this and this and this. I said, I want to know the problem. I don't want you just give me pills. I don't want pills. I need to figure this out. And then so they was like, well, we're going to call your OBG and see what he says. And I was like, all right, cool. So I didn't take what they gave me right then and there. And so the man came back. He was like, well, your OBG said you need to take this, this, and this. And I said, okay, fine. And so I took it when I got home, because they gave me some pills. He said that the pills that were given are prescribed, so I went to CVS to go get the medicine, right? So I took it, and all I did was go to sleep. And I was like, yo, how am I going to take care of my baby if I can't stay up? So all this time, her dad is still on deployment, right? So he's not here. So I'm just already just mad because he's not here, and mad because I'm feeling this way and I don't know what's wrong with me mentally and physically. And then on top of that, having a baby, it was just too much. So anyway, so I took the pills again. I went right to sleep. So I don't feel anything. So one day I was just like, I still have this pain. I'm still having trouble breathing. I can't stand up and hold her, like, at all at this point. It hurts to be in a vehicle. I can't drive, nothing. And I'm just like, I just don't know what to do. My back is in pain. Like, my daughter is now 5. I've been sleeping with a heating pad for 5 years. Like, kid you not. That's the only thing that helps is heat. Other than that, that's honestly what I use. What I've been doing for a while. But anyway, I told the doctor, I was like, how am I supposed to take care of my baby if I can't even stay awake? And I'm like, not only that, y'all said if I have to take this for the rest of my life because I have nerve damage to my spine. I said, but didn't y'all just say that if you're on medication for too long, then your organs fail? I said, so I cut out the pain, constantly get some rest, but I'm dying at the same time. I said, that doesn't make any sense to me. I said, this pain is so severe, I can't do anything. I said, I'm crying every single day because I'm in that much pain. And I said, I can't take care of my child because I'm in that much pain, So, I was like, well, I have a choice. I guess I'm going to either slowly die and have more problems in the future where I have to have more medicine, or deal with this pain. Oh, I found it. And not cry about it. So I dealt with the pain and cried about it privately. Like, seriously. Daddy. And I can't stand in the summertime when I sleep with the heating pad because I'm extra high and I sweat, and I'm just like, well, I can't have the heating pad. So I hurt more in the summertime. At night is the worst for me. I guess because I'm not moving around. I don't know. But anyway, so when I went to go get my follow-up checkup with my OBG, he was like, hey, Carissa, what's been going on? I was like, I told him everything. He was like, well, why didn't you go to the hospital? I said, what? He said, everything that you're saying, you should have went to the hospital. It's serious. I said, I did. And they said that you said I'm supposed to take all this medicine. He said, I wouldn't have gave you that. And I'm like, well, somebody's lying here. I'm like, they told me to wait, and they needed to get a hold of you, and you told them to give me this. He was like, Chris, I have no records of you being in the hospital. He was like, I'm looking right now. I have no records of you being there. And I said, I'm not lying. I said, you see these pills I got? I'm not lying about it. And then, so that was a red flag to me. I'm just like, you know what? Whoa, something is up. Somebody messed up, and they all know about it. And then I'm like, I don't know if he's in on it too type thing, but something is up. So time went on. I went back to California because that's where we were stationed at. And I went to a doctor, and she laughed at me when I told her everything. Like, legit laughed at me. She said they don't have any records. I said, that's what I was told. And I told her everything that happened, what I got done, everything. And I was like, well, you know what? If you don't believe my story, you get my records for yourself, and you tell me what you see, And she was like, all right, then fine, I'll do that. So about like 2 weeks later, I had another appointment. She apologized to me. She said, I'm so sorry I didn't believe you. I'm so sorry that I laughed at you. I'm doing a video. Ooh.
Hi.
What? No, I'm telling my story about being pregnant with you.
Pregnant?
Girl, but Raven. Anyway, so she said she was sorry and she did some x-rays and stuff because I told her for some reason my thigh area, I don't know what to call it, but you know when you have a Barbie, right, and and that little whole part comes out, that part comes out for me. I don't know what to call it, but anyway, she was like she couldn't say anything. X-rays on my back, everything looks normal. I said, but I don't feel normal. And she was like, I believe you. And I said, I don't know what to do. She said, well, honestly, there's nothing you can do. It's a nerve damage. You can't do anything about it besides take medicine. I said, again, y'all keep giving me medicine, but it keeps putting me to sleep. And y'all say I got to take this for the rest of my life, but it's going to hurt everything else. So I don't know what to do. So she was like, well, I don't know what to do other than lose weight and do some yoga. Right? So anyway, so during that time, I was just more and more depressed. I didn't know what to do. I didn't understand why I was feeling the way I was feeling. Like just mentally too. It was a lot. And I felt by myself, like completely by myself. And I was so angry that I was just lashing out a lot. And plus I was in pain, you know. And anyway, so I called a lawyer to try to sue. She laughed at me. She said I was wasting her time, that I was too young to be going through all this, and I just want some money. Kid you not. So I was like, all right, dang, who is going to believe me? And then I called the, what place? I forgot. But the disability place, right? I called them when I was in Cali. Basically brushed me off. I was like, you know what? I guess no one is going to believe me. I guess I have to deal with this pain. And I still have to make money, I'm young. I'm only 23. I think I was 23 when I had her. Or 24, no, 23. Anyway, so I just left it alone, and I just dealt with the pain for all this time. So that happened. So anyway, during the time that I was pregnant and after, I realized that my daughter was giving me so many signs that I needed to do better, eat better. And I just dismissed it, and a lot of other things happened. I just dismissed it because I thought I was crazy, but come to find out I'm not. But anyway, and I realize now that I'm telling you, she was definitely communicating with me in my belly. Like, I can't make that up. But again, I just dismissed it because I thought I was crazy. And so after I had her, I couldn't eat meat. That was another strong sign for me. I threw up meat. I couldn't eat it for 4 months straight. But during that time, I felt the best, as in energy. I didn't feel sick, I was eating less. I just ate fruits and vegetables and pasta. Really, that's all I ate. And I felt good. Dismissing the pain I was having. Overall, I was feeling good. I didn't have any stomach pain anymore. I was good, and because I'm so stuck in this world of thinking, this way of thinking, I'm like, I have to eat meat. Like, how am I going to survive? Well, girl, you just survived for 4 months, But I'm like everyone else, eating things that I like. And so And now, still to this day, I will have periods where I can't eat meat. My body will reject it. And I'm just like, why aren't you listening? Are you, this tied to meat, to food, And so self-control is something that I struggle with. And so when I don't eat meat, I notice I am at my best. I notice that. So now I'm to a point where I no longer want to do that. I don't want to eat animal in any kind of way. And I've been learning and researching and doing things on myself, like if I eat this, and like for an example, I would take, what does my body do when I eat cow's milk? What does my body do when I eat when I drink almond milk? And then what does it do if I make it myself? I notice it's a difference. So whenever I'm sharing something, it's because I actually tried it myself, So I just been having like images in my mind basically on how things should be and how it was back then. And I'm just like, there's a way for us to eat. There's a way for us to do things without all this extra stuff, right? I know there is. So I just been getting into it more and more. And I'm just like, I don't trust a lot of people. I can't trust everybody that sell herbs, But again, Crystal called my attention and she said things that I knew personally. So for a while, I would just fact check her. I would look it up for myself. I'm like, I can't just go based off what someone is saying. I did that before and it messed me up. So I would do that, and then certain things I wouldn't because I actually lived it. So there was no need to fact check her because I lived it already. And I'm just like, I just need to be better overall. And so anyway, so once after a while of me fact checking her, I was like, I really don't need to anymore. Like, she knows what she's talking about. I trust her judgment, So as time went on, I did less and less fact checking. And also I just meditated on some of the things she would say to see how I feel, about it and what would come to me with it, And then, what did she do? She did something. Oh, I didn't like, okay, what was stopping me from buying teas was the whole voodoo situation, right? I was like, she probably gonna cast a spell on me. I don't know what to do, that's what I was thinking. And but I didn't understand voodoo or anything about it, and little do people know, I mean, you probably low-key do it and don't even know it. I don't think it's what they made it out to be. It was like, as much as I don't really care for that side, I still know she's speaking truth. The message is what I'm looking for. I can't judge what she does or anything like that, right? At the end of the day, I know this person can help me. So I was like, okay, I feel like I got enough information, let me buy. So at the time I was like, well, I really don't know what I need, but I can only go based off how I've been feeling and what her description says. So I just waited and I just did more research. I did more research on myself. I did more research on everything, including voodoo. I can't even lie because I was like, I need to make sure. So even though that doesn't matter, but it didn't matter to me. It didn't matter to me. So that happened, and I was like, you know what? I'm ready. This is it, right? And I noticed like a lot of things she would talk about came up in my household, like spiritual stuff. And I was like, yo, this is wild. So I was more interested into hearing everything she had to say from that point, and things that I was seeing for myself and my daughter. And I was just like, yo, this is who I need to be, listening to. But also, of course, listen to myself, listen to the Most High, obviously. But anyway, so that is why I chose to follow. That is why I chose to buy her teas. I will talk about what her teas have done for me. And